to is to the liberal state. Frankly, in my conversations with both Anna Hazare and with Arvind Kejriwal, I found illiberal tendencies. Now, what do I mean by that? The answer to their idea, in electricity in Delhi, if you have high electricity prices and you want to bring down the cost of electricity, the answer is institutional. How do you actually create greater supply? How do you create competition between suppliers? In London, I can buy electricity from 17 different companies and they fight with each other. They're supplying me the same electricity, but they're supplying on competition. They're competing with each other, and that is improving the quality of the service. It's lowering costs. So that's what I mean, a liberal commitment is a liberal commitment to institutions. What India needs today is the reform of our institutions, the bureaucracy, the judiciary, the police, and the parliament. And so it is ultimately, we have a good constitution. We don't need a lot of amendment to the constitution. What we need is the institutions that are. Is there a problem with this?
You can all hear.
You can hear, okay. Anyway, the point is to make a commitment to the reform of institutions. Now, we can discuss how that will be done. And you were absolutely right when you said that no matter how good you may have it in law, but unless the judiciary can work, why should it take in India 15 years to get justice in the courts? Why should it take 12 years to build a road? These are institutional failures. And the solution to these problems have to be institutional. And when you say that, then you are making a commitment to the notion of liberal politics. And so what I would like to see in the Aam Aadmi Party is a greater commitment. Lokpal is one institution, but it is one of many reforms that we need. And frankly, the Lokpal comes into play when the patient is sick. Corruption has happened. What we need is, if they say that if you want to clear some place of malaria, you clear the swamps. Quinine is what you administer as a medicine after corruption has taken place. But we need to clear the swamps. And that's why we need an institutional answer to the. So it's very interesting that when this book was launched in Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal and I were on stage together. I don't know if you know that. You've seen that video? Okay. And there was Nainan who was moderating the discussion. Nainan is a very wise man. And Nainan says at the end, well, look, both of you are talking about a new party. Why don't you get together? And Arvind, being a very gentle, soft-spoken person, let me speak first. And I said, look, my problem is that I need to form a greater commitment to the liberal state. A lot of the people around Arvind Kejriwal don't even believe in the economic reforms. which includes, I'm sorry to say, your cousin, Prashant Bhushan. And to me, the starting point of India's future begins. India got its political independence in 1947, but it only got its economic independence in 1991. And so, the answer very often that comes from Prashant Bhushan is a person who believes in price control, he believes in state ownership, the state, sort of statist approach of a old-fashioned socialist. And he's a much more sophisticated person than that. But what since we are speaking, and I'm a friend, and I'm giving this thing to you as a friend. So we won't go into the very specific. I would just like to say that, spend another 3 or 4 minutes. 3 or 4 minutes, let's pull ourselves back. Before we ask ourselves, how are we going to get these reforms? Meaning bureaucracy, police, the judiciary, and the parliament. There are countless reports, and they all say the same thing. And why have these reforms not been done? And that is a very, very important question. But let me just, since we are an academic institution, and this has been chaired by Bob Goldman, I think we should look and ask ourselves who we are as a people, as a country. Now, the rise of India in the last 2 decades has been a rise from below. It's a rise of the people, unlike China, which has risen from above, meaning the Chinese engine has been a terrific technocratic elite in China, which built this amazing infrastructure, has been at the heart of the Chinese rise. And India is almost despite the state that people rose. And that's why the book, by the way, is called India Grows at Night. I don't complete the full sentence, which is India grows at night when the government sleeps. And the purpose of the book is to really argue a case for India growing during the day. And I have a Chinese friend